I already told you, one of the best mid and long-term strategies to boost your brand and attract new leads, and particularly quality leads, is to create content for social media. But not just create content, quality and, very important, quantity content. Content in a lot of quantity. And I'm sure that you have heard a lot of people say, yeah, quality is more important. No. Quantity and quality, both are important. Of course, without quality, you don't do crap. But if it's just quality once a week, it'll take you forever. And particularly now with AI, it's going to be more and more difficult. Anyways, keeping this in mind and the importance of creating content and trying to be in multiple platforms so that you can reach more audience, then I want to talk to you about a new tool. Because while it is cool to be in multiple platforms, the reality is that we do not have the time, and you cannot be learning about all of those. It is better to focus in some specific ones. But here comes the but. If just by a few extra seconds you can be in multiple platforms, even if you don't optimize the results in those platforms, at least be there, then that is great. So because of that, I want to tell you today about a tool that I learned about a few days ago and that I decided to buy a lifetime deal. And I think it's amazing, and that as an entrepreneur, it can help you, or whatever you are, if you want to boost your personal brand, this tool can definitely help make things easier. And with that, let's start this episode. Welcome back, awesome people, to the Diary of a Digital Entrepreneur. Today, I want to talk with you about a tool that I don't remember the name. I think it's Hopper. Sorry, I just bought it today, the lifetime deal. But the thing is that the deal is over pretty soon, and I figure I need to share this with my audience and with you, because I don't want you to miss it. If you are one of the people listening to this podcast or watching this podcast right away, then you deserve to know all this. So what is this tool for? It's a tool that allows you to upload an audio and then you share it from the tool to multiple podcast platforms like Spotify, iTunes, and tons of platforms more that some of them you might not even know. Right? There's certainly tons that I have never heard of, but these are platforms that they have millions of users. So, of course, I'm never going to learn about a platform that is called, I don't even know the name, but let's say Podcast 3. Let's call it Podcaster 3. I'm not going to learn about that one because I didn't even know it existed. But if it's not that, it's Podcasters 4, Podcaster 5. There is so many platforms. You cannot be learning about all of them and posting everything, every audio you record there. So with this platform, what I do is I see what are the platforms. With this software, what I do is I see which platforms, podcast platforms, are they connected with. Then I create an account in all of them or some of them and do all the steps that they tell me, create the podcast, whatnot, and then I just upload my podcast. Instead of uploading it to Spotify, I upload it to Hubhopper. I hope that's the right name. And from there, I share it to all the different podcast platforms that I created an account and connected it with Hubhopper. By doing this, what I will be getting is my podcast in 10 or 15 or 20 platforms, which is something that I was definitely never going to do. I'm never going to post a podcast in 20 platforms because that requires a lot of time. So this is something that I have already been using with written content or images. software like Socialmonials or or HubSpot or whatnot, they have these services for LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, and whatnot. I don't recall them having anything for podcasts. Maybe they do for Spotify, and that's it. But I don't think so. And I'm sure there is plenty of software out there that podcasters use, but I'm not a podcaster. And probably you're not neither. And the reality is that I'm not going to be putting that much focus on podcasts because there's so many things to do. That being said, since I'm recording all these videos, the Diary of the Digital Entrepreneur, is pretty easy to take out the audio and then turn it into a podcast. And then I just share it. And I'm not going to try to edit it and make it beautiful. We're just going to I'm going to record an intro, an outro, boom. An intro for all of them and an outro for all of them. It's the same one. Boom, it goes. Because the Diary of a Digital Entrepreneur is raw, it comes with mistakes, it's me, natural. And what happens is that if I post that audio for 300 days or whatever, only 50 episodes, let's say, if you're not doing 300 days, 365 days, 50 episodes, and you post it in 10 different platforms, you will reach some people. And maybe one of them is someone that turns into a big, important client, or someone that brings more referrals, or someone that opens the door to new opportunities. Obviously, when you're posting all this content in social media, it is ideal if you can have 1 million followers, but it's not necessarily the goal. When we are solopreneurs or we have small companies, sometimes it's just enough with having a few tens or dozens of people listening or seeing your posts or your content, because some of them will turn into your clients. And because just by having the content out there, you will create value and trust and authority. So my recommendation to you is, if you're interested in this idea of the podcast, check out the Lifetime deal to see if it's still available. The link is below. And I'm affiliate of AppSumo, the company that sells the Lifetime deal, not the actual software. And then, if for you it's difficult, the idea of recording a podcast, what I recommend you do is just use your phone to record, write down topics that you could talk about related with your job and your industry. Like, for example, let's say that you're talking about mortgages. 5 tips for when you're buying a house, how to look for a house, the price, will the interest rates come up or down, go up and down, or you start writing different topics, or you ask ChatGPT for topics. Then, or for questions, typical questions in my industry. And then you just record yourself, not even video, just the audio in your phone. And once you have 10, 20, 30, you can get started. You already have 30 podcasts there. This is amazing. And it doesn't need to be 30 minutes. It could be a 5. Start with a 5-minute audio. It doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be. Something is better than nothing. And then you start distributing it to 10 different platforms. And I guarantee you that once you start, there's no stopping you. If you get the habit to do it, there's no stopping you. So that's all for today, my friend. Great having you here. Okay, great. Thank you for watching. If you're watching from YouTube, please like, subscribe, hit that bell. And if you're listening to the podcast in whatever platform, then leave a review and all those things that the platforms normally ask for. Thank you, and see you in the next episode.